From a 250 million-year-old stone containing a microchip to an alien skeleton found in the Atacama Desert, here are 10 artifacts that would prove the existence of aliens. We often hear about unexpected discoveries that may or may not surprise us. Let me give you an example. In Russia, scientists have announced the discovery of a 250 million-year-old stone. Artifacts that are so many years old, that's not strange, you might say. Certainly. And this announcement could have been harmless if only this stone did not contain a microchip. But what does all this mean? Were microchips really used before man? Well, according to the experts, this object would come from an extremely advanced civilization that would have lived there before us. An extraterrestrial civilization, for example? We don't know much about it. All that is known is that the stone was discovered in the town of Lubinsk, Russia, by a man while he was fishing. He then gave it to researchers so that they could study it closely. The chip was immersed in the stone and was thus preserved for all these years. Let's go now to Latin America. It is in Ica, Peru, where thousands of engraved stones of different sizes have been found. Discovered in the 60s, these andesite pebbles, known since then as the stones of Ica, will not cease to feed the most absurd theories about their origin. And for good reason. These pebbles present extremely astonishing engravings that have left scientists perplexed. Indeed, these engravings represent various rather complex things such as fantastic animals, maps of the Earth as it would have been millions of years ago, dinosaurs cohabiting with man. But that's not all. Some stones include drawings of some rather complicated medical practices such as surgical operations and heart transplants, while others show very advanced technologies. All this is interesting, however, the mystery still hovers over the true origin of these stones. Their carbon dating was impossible to do, due to the absence of organic matter, but the possibility of fraud could not be ruled out. The stones would have been engraved with drawings copied from comic books and magazines. This was claimed by a farmer who was selling the stones. The use of paints and abrasives found today is also among the evidence. Officially then, the stones of Ica were a pure hoax. On the other hand, other experts remain skeptical of this conclusion. Why is that? Well, according to them, it was simply impossible for people to have been able to reproduce all these complex drawings so accurately on a set of 15,000 pebbles. Other details would also prove that these are indeed authentic archaeological stones. So, what do you think of them? Are these stones the work of a forger, or are they archaeological objects belonging to some technologically advanced civilization? Do you like this video? Then, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all notifications and not miss anything of our next publications. Let's keep going. Now let's talk about another artifact that was discovered in Latin America, this time in Colombia. The genetic disc, or embryological disc, is one of the most incredible and interesting objects that exist on this continent. Its origin is said to go back more than 6,000 years. This disc measures 27 centimeters in diameter and weighs 2 kilograms. It is made of a very hard and extremely resistant material called lyddite, and has a layered structure. It is said that it is even impossible to reproduce it, but that is not the most interesting thing. The disc contains a lot of incredible biological information. On both sides of the disc, there are symbols forming images that represent the complete cycle from fertilization of the ovum to birth, with somewhat strange shapes. On the other hand, this disc shows certain things that man can currently only see with the help of a microscope. All this mystery leads us to ask ourselves the following question: who could have made this disc with all this scientific information, and with such material on top of that? Some will say that it could have an extraterrestrial origin. Anyway, this object is a real enigma. Here's another interesting discovery that would prove that what could be called contemporary technology has certainly been around for a very long time. This time, it is an object reminiscent of an engine spark plug. The object in question was discovered in 1961 in a mountainous region in California, by the owners of a mineral store. While they were looking for geodes, one of them cut one of these rocks in two, and then, surprise! Instead of the cavity lined with crystals usually found in geodes, there was a hard, white cylinder that looked like an engine spark plug. A metal wire of 2 mm thickness crossed the object in its center. X-ray images also showed that another propeller-like element or spring was at one end. Some have suggested that it was an engine spark plug after comparing it to a mark from the 1920s, surrounded by a nodule of iron oxide which would have taken the shape of a stone. Nevertheless, the Koso artifact, named after the region where it was discovered, has become a subject of speculation. How did this happen? Well, rumors suggested that the artifact was actually 500,000 100,000 years old and that it was extraterrestrial in origin. Could it be an object left behind by aliens who visited Earth in the past? Or would it be the work of a civilization that is technologically advanced enough to be able to invent such objects? One of the other unexplained mysteries is that of some stones that were discovered in 2017 in caves in Mexico. It was in an underground cave complex on the outskirts of Puebla and Veracruz that researchers discovered stones that resembled aliens. These stones had a large head, big almond-shaped eyes, and 3 fingers that resembled those of the mummies of Nazca. Everything suggests that there was some contact between the Maya and the aliens. Just look at the engravings on these stones that have been called stones of the first encounter. Even more surprisingly, their authenticity has been proven by the scientists present. Before continuing our discoveries, let's take a short break with the question of the day. In which country are the geoglyphs of Nazca, these enormous figures that have often been attributed to aliens? Option A, Peru. Option B, Chile. Option C, Bolivia. Think about it and then choose the option that seems correct to you and stay with us until the end of this video to see if your answer is right. And now, let's continue. It was an amazing discovery that had made a lot of noise in Turkey. A mummy, probably of extraterrestrial origin, was found in a sarcophagus, perfectly preserved, by Turkish speleologists. Of course, the discovery of this unique artifact did not leave researchers and the general public indifferent. According to estimates, this mummy was more than 10,000 years old, and this mysterious creature would have measured about 120 centimeters in its lifetime. It also had a number of unusual characteristics, such as green skin color, large transparent wings, and very large eyes. Indeed, the orbits of this mummy are about 3 times the size of human eyes. On the other hand, the hands, feet, ears, nose, and lips were the only features common with humans. The mummy rested in a transparent sarcophagus made of a very resistant material. While it was thought to be crystal, scientists have denied this information. However, they were unable to determine the true nature of the material of the sarcophagus. The extraterrestrial mummy found in Turkey is not the only mummy of its kind to have been discovered. Others have already been found, notably in Egypt. And probably, it will not be the last either. What if aliens lived on Mars? In any case, this is what the appearance of some artifacts on NASA images suggests. These traces of life could be irrefutable proof of the presence of aliens if only NASA could confirm it. Because, well, these are only the conclusions put forward by the theorists who claim that aliens exist. It is the images of strange sticks on the red planet, rocks probably, that has triggered a multitude of questions about their true origin. Crystals, fossils linked to animals. But of course, it is not only these artifacts that arouse curiosity. Indeed, other elements have already attracted the attention of researchers of Martian life. Remember for example the story of the mysterious light spot seen on Mars, on a photo taken by the robot Curiosity. This light had fed the hypotheses of extraterrestrial life, but NASA had refuted this by stating that this light point could only be a reflection of sunlight. An explanation that would be probable, according to the space agency, so there would be no sign of Martian life. Nevertheless, other found objects have again made waves. Are they really traces of extraterrestrial life or are they mere illusions? Another proof that aliens may have come into contact with the Mayans is the presence of some artifacts that have been discovered in Mexico, in one of the Mayan cities called Calakmul. These are some drawings that have been found in pyramid pieces never before explored. These drawings supposedly represent flying saucers and beings descending from them. There is also talk of masks with the known characteristics of aliens. The little green men are said to have left evidence of their passage on Earth, and they even taught the Maya things about agriculture, medicine, astronomy, and mathematics. In fact, one only has to remember Maya's prowess in these different fields. They were the first to use the zero. Moreover, they would have known planets long before their discovery. And then, according to certain sources, there would have even been landing platforms in the jungle that date back 3,000 years. Wow! All this is a lot of fun. This amazing discovery was even the subject of a documentary based on this evidence. But, not everyone believes in the existence of Calakmul's aliens. Ata is a mummy that was found in 2003 in the Atacama Desert in Chile and has long been the subject of debate. The reason? This 15 centimeters mummy, which is no larger than a human fetus, has a rather strange shape. Indeed, it looks like an alien skeleton with its conical and elongated head and bones that are too ripe for its size. It has long been thought that it could be an alien. However, genetic tests have finally revealed things about the true nature of this skeleton, which is not that of an alien. In reality, Ata was a newborn human female, probably stillborn or born shortly after birth. The mystery was solved by DNA analysis, but it was still necessary to understand where his unusual characteristics came from. Well, after analysis of the Ata genome, it was discovered that 7 of the genes responsible for human growth had mutations. So it is this combination of mutations that could explain the skeletal abnormalities and extreme bone strength. The hypothesis of an extraterrestrial skeleton is, therefore, no longer on the agenda. Before ending this video, here is one last piece of information that might be of interest to you. Chaim Eshad, the former head of Israel's space security program, recently made a surprising statement saying that aliens exist and that they are already in contact with us. According to him, US President Donald Trump is not unaware of this fact either. The former Israeli official even added that his country and the United States had concluded an agreement with a galactic federation, and that the American president was about to reveal this affair. However, the Galactic Federation would have prevented him from doing so, under the pretext that humanity was not yet ready. Well, very lunar certainly, but of course it is a matter to be followed. And that's it for today. You have just discovered some artifacts that could prove the existence of aliens. What do you think of them? Leave us your impressions in the comments. And finally, here is the right answer to the question of the day. The geoglyphs of Nazca are in the desert of Nazca, in the south of Peru. I hope that many of you chose option A.